everyone, and welcome back to my channel. So if you're watching this, then today is Monday, November 2nd, 2020, which means I am turning 23 years old today. So I just wanted to pre-film something out. It's a few months out by the time I'm filming this, but I just wanted to put something out there. This is really one of those videos that are more for me than it is for anybody's enjoyment or watching, but it's something I'm sharing to either inspire somebody to do the same or hold myself accountable throughout this year. So as you can tell from the title, this is just a little compilation of things I want to accomplish by the time I turn 24 years old. So if that is of any interest to you at all, then please keep on watching. First, I'm just going to touch on very briefly why I'm doing this. So I know people like to make fun of New Year's resolutions and make fun of these goals that people set. And I am entirely against that. I am against the mindset, I guess, that when it's a new year, you know, everyone's like, oh, this is the year I'm going to be healthy, or this is the year I'm going to lose weight. That's like the only one you hear. I am very for goal setting in general, and setting, my dad would laugh, attainable goals for yourself that you really want to accomplish in the next year. Like, just to name a few for 2020, a lot of my goals, granted, they got changed because of the pandemic, but I wanted to plan a trip to Italy with Ben and save up for it and do the proper budgeting for that. I wanted to adjust my gym schedule to be more focused on weightlifting than always cardio. So I like to set goals that I think will make me better, make my year better, and just make me a better person. And I'm against a culture of setting goals as a waste of time. That's it. I have 10 goals that I'm going to speak briefly about. This is hopefully not going to be a very long video, but sometimes I just can't stop talking, so we'll see. So the first one is I want to make a small group of friends to where I moved in Florida. This one should be easier than it is, but moving down here during a pandemic, a lot of the methods that we would typically use to make friends are kind of shut off. You know, we're not going to bars, we're not going out and meeting people at you know, nights out on the town. So within this next year, I want to work a little bit harder. I've already tried to join a book club and I'm doing all the stuff that I'm going to try to make a small group of friends. So the next one is the one I am worried about being the most difficult for me. But so every month of 23, I want to pay back more on my student loans than what is currently due. I'm not going to go into numbers. I don't want to be that specific, but I have this amount that's due every month that just automatically comes out of my account. And every month when that amount comes out, my goal is to do $100 more than that amount. But even if I am sometimes in a rough financial spot and I do $10, $20 over, I want to, or more, preferably, I would like every month to be paying back more. And on top of that, I've made a promise to myself that 80% of every commission check I get in my job is also going to be going towards paying back my loans. So the third one's a little bit vague, but I wrote down find the passion and adrenaline for adventure like I used to have. I would say I still have a passion for adventure, but I think my adrenaline has gone down. It's something I've seen a lot about online, so it's definitely made me feel like I'm not as crazy, but the older I get, the more I've been like, I'm afraid of getting hurt. I am afraid of not being able to go to work, being out of commission. My building doesn't have an elevator, so if I ever hurt my legs, I don't really know what I'm going to do. But I want to skydive. I want to stay in hostels when I go abroad. I've done it before. I know it's very safe, but as I've gotten older, I've gotten like more cautious, and I want to be smart still, but I also want to go out and experience all of these things that, you know, you only live once, but something that I want to go out and do a little bit more and, you know, be more adventurous, spend less days just sitting at home and, you know, try new things. I think this past year, I've become very safe. And granted, you know, more than half of this past year has been COVID, so I'll cut myself some slack. But now that I'm living in a new spot with so many new things to experience, I really want this year to be about adrenaline, adventure, passion for life, that kind of jazz. The next one is one that's rolling over from my New Year's resolutions, but I'm giving myself a little bit more time. I still want to plan and go on that trip to Italy / abroad with Ben. That was our graduation present for ourselves. From my parents, his parents, everyone was helping us save for it and purchasing little parts of the trip for us, and we couldn't be more grateful, but it got canceled. So now hopefully we can finance together, even if it's not the month that we were looking at before, even if we can get a week. I know both of us really want to go to Capri and we really want to go to the Amalfi Coast, Rome and Tuscany. So if we could make that work, that would be fantastic. I would love for that to be in the next year, but even if the trip itself is not in the next year, to be able to start planning, financing, and saving for it. So the next one is a little bit like sappy, but it's something that was really important to me. So a good friend of mine is getting married. And before I moved to Florida, before I knew I was moving to Florida, she had asked me to be her maid of honor, which has probably been one of the biggest honors of my life so far. I won't get too into it, but it meant a lot. That couple, that experience, it meant a lot to me, which was really, really cool. But now I'm in Florida, and my goal, I'll just cut this out there and say, I want to be just as good of a friend and support system and helpful maid of honor from down here as I could have been at home. And if that means extra FaceTime calls, if that means a couple extra flights home for the planning process, I want to do whatever it takes to make that day very special for her, but for both of them as well. The next one, number 6, is this. I want to continue investing into YouTube. I know nobody's watching. I know I have a really great support system of probably like 10 to 15 people who will watch my videos, and that's just because they're my friends and they want to support me. But I want to continue doing this, if for no other reason than for myself, because some of these videos are like diaries to me. I'm horrible at writing down little jokes that happen. I can write down like, oh, my family went to Hollywood Studios today. We went to Epcot today. These 2 videos I have on my channel of my family in Epcot together and in Hollywood Studios together, that's what I do when I'm sad. And I know that's like frowned upon, that people are like, oh, you watch your own videos. The ones with my family and my friends, yes. I like to look back and remember those times real time and what people actually said and what we were actually doing, and I love them. And so these, where it's me talking to a camera, I'm probably not going to watch this when I'm sad, but a lot of the ones I have, me and Ben's, oh my God, me and Ben's road trip down to Florida and the process of saying goodbye to my family and starting this life, that's something I want to show my grandchildren one day. So I'll stop ranting, but I want to keep investing in this for the sake of, if anybody's watching that relates to this mess of graduating during COVID and trying to start a life and have a job and learn how to finance, and we're buying a car and have no idea what we're doing. If you relate to this at all, I would love to be a friend to people going through it. But more than that, I want these to look back on when I'm old. Oh, jeez. So the next one's less fun. I really want to work with our baby Brandy to just be better. I love her, and within the confines of our apartment, she is the greatest dog I've ever met. She is cuddly, she loves being pet. Her favorite thing is ice cubes, so if you just give her one, she'll run around the house with it and treat it like a baby. It is very cute, but you have her leave the apartment, she will not respond to her name. She is horrible walking on a leash. She can be a little snarly with other dogs. She's very protective of the dog park that's in our apartment complex, so she can't be in there at the same time as another dog. We've signed her up for classes. I'm not sure how helpful it'll be, because the issue is that she's territorial of her space outside. So bringing her into a new space, I'm not sure if it's going to help. But that's a goal for this next year, is I want to get her to respond to her name, stop growling in the middle of the night at what I can only assume is ghosts, and be nicer to other dogs. The next one is continuing to gain confidence in my skills and in the work that I bring to the table. Just something that I've always struggled with is watching what I've made or seeing what I've made and being like, it's not good enough. And that's everything from if I'm painting with friends to making YouTube videos to grades at school. It was never good enough, because there's always someone better, but there's always going to be someone better. So what I need to do is hone my skills, hone my craft, find my voice, and then have a unique voice that no one else can copy, because I think that's more important than being the best, because there's always going to be better. It's subjective. So I want to work on gaining confidence in my skills so I can bring them to the table and say, this is my best. This is what I do best. So the next one has to do with the fact that I watch a lot of YouTube. For part of my job, I'm doing a lot of computer work, so I can kind of put YouTube on in the background for some noise while I'm working. And so I consume a lot of content. And what I want to do in this next year is kind of change my lens, and I want to start watching YouTube for the purpose of creating instead of watching it entirely as a consumer. Of course, I'm going to do both because that's part of it. But with watching all of these Smoky Glow videos, and I'm going to talk about her in every video from now on, Sierra Schultze, they create content that in my mind I want to be similar to mine, but I want to find my own voice in those areas. And so I'm going to start watching for what do I like? What do I want to bring into my channel that these people do? And what is it that I don't want to do and where I'm going to differentiate myself. Last but not least is I want to call my great-grandfather more often. I am horrible at picking up the phone and calling anybody, and my great-grandfather is 95. He just turned 95 years old, and he only lives about 8 hours from where I am now. And I need to put in more effort. I want to call him more often and hear his stories about how his days are going. He just hit, what was it? I think it was 500 hours volunteering at his local hospital, and that's been through COVID at 94 years old. So he's incredible, and I want to learn from him. So thank you guys for watching. I know this is very much egocentric of me to just be making a video of things that I want to do in the next year, but today's my birthday. You know, maybe if my birthday didn't fall on a Monday, I would do something different, but I'm not. So thank you guys. Please hit the like button and subscribe if you're willing. Click the bell if you really want to make me smile. All of my normal links are down below. Register to vote, Black Lives Matter causes and petitions and places you can donate. I have a few really, really exciting weeks coming up of content that I'm really excited about. I think I'm always going to say that though. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next Monday. Bye!